for our audiences who might not know what is refurbishing, if you could just briefly explain क्या होता है refurbishing?
Refurbished devices are basically second-hand devices. We use second-hand a lot in Indian markets. And refurbished devices are basically some devices that are bought from corporates, which are mostly commercial devices, much hardier, much durable than your normal consumer devices that you buy. And it has gone through an entire cycle of refurbishment. Now, what is that? It is basically taking in a laptop a company has used very lightly, uh, opening it out, seeing what the errors are, completely cleaning the laptop part by part, checking all the parts separately. And there are two things that happens in a refurbishment process. One is the functionality repair, and another thing is the cosmetic repair. So if you're buying a refurbished device, obviously you won't want a device which is scratched or broken or koi corner pe kuch toot gaya hai. So what a refurbisher essentially does is first he opens the entire device, checks part by part, checks the battery, checks how much the RAM is good or not, check if the storage is good or not, cleans the previous storage, completely wipes it off, maybe changes the storage device. And once the functionality tests are done, he sort of does the cosmetic repairs. So maybe repainting the device or changing a plastic part of the device. And once everything is done, it essentially becomes a newer laptop, right? I mean, there are very few laptops that are actually after the entire refurbishment process that actually does not work. Uh, and A proper refurbished device would carry a good warranty. So if even if someone is buying a refurbished device, they would get a good warranty against it. And if it is being followed, like if the refurbisher is following all the government mandates put out right now for refurbishing devices, then a buyer buying a device from a refurbisher would essentially buy a new device. It has been used definitely, but the refurbishment process definitely turns it into a sort of a new device.
Correct.
So you get essentially a very good laptop at maybe half the price. So it's a very good option to buy for people who are having certain budget constraints while buying a new laptop. Maybe they're sort of compromising on certain things here and there. So it is a very good option for them to slash their entire budget, buy a laptop which is pretty good for them and which stays for them for 2-3 years more. Consumer laptops are not being refurbished to being sold as a refurbished device.
Okay.
So the refurbished devices are mostly commercial laptops,
Right.
that the companies sort of dispose of when they're buying newer ones,
Right.
which are in better condition to be refurbished and sold as
Right.
second-hand
Right.
devices. So the consumer laptops are mostly dismantled for parts,
Right.
sold at black markets,
Exactly.
sold at very cheaper to all the places, and it's not
Exactly.
monitored. It's not. It's
Exactly.
evaluated and mostly broken down for parts, and sort of I don't know what is happening. So when buying a refurbished device, we have this tendency of believing that okay, I'm buying a second-hand device, and the way I have used my device, I don't want to buy that.
Okay.
राइट मतलब अगर मैं जैसा अपना लैपटॉप यूज कर रहा हूँ,
हाँ हाँ.
आई डोंट वांट टू बाय अ सेकंड हैंड डिवाइस which I know has been used like this.
Correct.
So two things. So that is not the device you're buying when you're buying second hand. It's a commercial device that has been
Yeah.
very lightly used and being
Right.
refurbished.
Right.
And the device you are selling it to has mostly not being given to as a refurbished device to a second person. It is being dismantled for parts or sold for parts and
Right.